Hello, this is Brett Lonsdale, and in this video we're going to take a look at how to create forum groups and forums inside of Social Squared. What we're going to do is create a SharePoint site, first of all, which is going to be around a grocery store, so we can have discussions on some of the different categories of items that you would find inside of a grocery store. And once we've created the SharePoint site, we're also going to provision that site inside of Microsoft Teams, and then we're going to go through and add a web part. The Social Squared web part will configure some of the forum groups there, and we'll also go on to configure some forum groups inside the Teams interface as well, so you can see it from both sides. So first of all, let's finish off the creation of this site. So notice we're creating a site here called Grocery Store, and we're going to hit next, and we can add some members. So just like in the previous video, we know that these people are the only people that will have access to the discussion boards, and they'll be able to go through and, of course, add new topics, reply to each other, and so on, but they can't configure anything as members of the SharePoint site or of the team. So that is being created, and we're going to go through and add Social Squared for the first time to this particular site. But before we do, we're just going to spin up Teams in the background, and you'll notice down here in the bottom left hand corner we can add Microsoft Teams to this site. So we're going to continue to do that. Let's just accept the defaults, and that will go through and create our team, which we'll be able to access. And one of the benefits of doing this with Social Squared is the fact that you can access those discussions when you're inside of the SharePoint UI or when you're accessing Teams as well, and people can join in the conversations from either platform. So first of all, let's go into a new SharePoint page. So I'm going to go through and add a page to my SharePoint site, and it's a blank page, and we're going to call this product discussions, and we're going to add Social Squared into this page. And you'll notice here that it's provisioning those lists and libraries like we discussed in the previous videos, which will become the repository for the content that's created inside of the SharePoint site and also through Teams as well. And it just takes a moment for that to finish before we can get in to creating the forum groups and the forums. So we've got that created, and in here we'll go through and click onto the ellipsis in the top left hand corner, and we're going to go to the forum settings, and it's only the site owner or the team owner that will be able to get into forum settings. Nobody else will be able to configure that as yet. So once we hit the forum settings, notice here we can go through and add our forum groups. Now it's important when you structure the forum groups and the forums that you really take user engagement into consideration as well. What we want to do is make sure that the discussions are found easily on each topic. We also want to make sure that the content in each of the different forums is relevant, but it's not too specific that you hardly get any traffic. And we also want to make sure that the moderators that we select for each forum, if you want to use moderators, they are there to encourage participation inside the forums and also to keep the discussions on track as well. If people start seeing just noise going on inside of the forums, then they're going to go elsewhere and maybe go back to the posts tab inside of Teams or something like that. So the structure really needs to make sense based on the subject. So what we're going to do here is add our first forum group, and it's going to be called groceries. Now obviously in a supermarket, we're going to have groceries, so we could go through and create a groceries forum group, and inside of that forum group we can go through and create the different forums that you would expect to see. So we can add a forum for fruit and vegetables, so let's just create that as fruit and veg, and this can be described as questions on fruit and veg. Now, when I say don't be too specific, we could, of course, create a forum called carrots, but we're going to start naming every single vegetable or every single fruit that is available inside our supermarket, and then end up that we're hardly getting any discussions around those topics. So keeping it relatively broad on fruit and veg is still going to be specific enough that we can see some traffic and get some conversations going. So there's our fruit and veg forum. I'm going to go through and add a couple more. So we'll have a meat and fish forum. So we'll have this one described as questions about meat or fish. And notice last time we didn't add a moderator. We are going to get into moderators in the next video in a bit more depth. But this is where you can add a moderator. So if I wanted a moderator, such as demo user 6 here, on this particular forum, they have that responsibility, like I say, to make sure that the conversations that take place here are about meat and fish. The topics don't go astray, and we end up talking about other things because that's going to lose our audience. So if anybody does create a topic or leads the conversation down a different path, the demo user 6 can actually go through and edit those posts or even move those posts into a more relevant category if they want to as well. So for example, you may have somebody that posts about vegetarian dishes, and that might be more suitable towards a vegetarian forum. So we'll discuss some of these different options in the next video, but let's just go through and add that forum. And we can also create another one. We'll create the vegetarian. And again, we'll have questions on vegetarian food. And we could have a different moderator on that one if there was a subject matter expert on vegetarian food. And of course, we can have things like canned foods as well. And however you want to create the structure that would suit the environment. Okay, so they are the forums under groceries, and of course there could be a few more that we come up with, but let's just navigate back using this breadcrumb trail to the forum groups, and in here we're going to go through and create another one, because supermarkets nowadays don't just sell food, they also sell things like electronics and clothing. So let's create an electronics forum group, and inside of that forum group we can now add a forum such as televisions. So questions about televisions. And again, we could add a moderator on that one and just hit add, and we start to get that forum being created too. So that's our televisions, and we could have one on computer hardware. Okay, and we can then navigate back to another forum group again, create a new forum group, and this time we'll have clothing. So now we've got clothing, we could create a forum for children's clothing. And again, we could add a moderator there, and we could have adults clothing or shoes, etc. Okay, so that is how we go through and create our forum groups and forums. So this is the layout now. So if I was to create a question about fruit and vegetables, it may be something about bananas or apples, I would know instantly to navigate to the fruit and veg forum, and we want it to make sense like that so people know where to go and ask their questions, and that's where they're more likely going to get a reply, because there'll be like-minded people that are going in there replying to them or also asking their own questions as well. So we've now got that created. Let's just publish that page, and what we're going to do is navigate across to Microsoft Teams. So over here on the left hand side here, we'll choose Teams, and I'm just going to use the web app to work with Teams here. And what we should find is that as I scroll all the way down to the bottom, this is where we have the grocery store. So what I'm going to do is add Social Squared to that. And we're going to make this full screen by expanding this tab. And you can see in here we've got those exact same forum groups and forums that we provisioned when we were inside of Microsoft SharePoint. So if I wanted to add a new forum to one of these, I can do exactly the same here inside of Teams as what you were doing inside of SharePoint. So all we need to do is click onto the ellipsis in the top left hand corner, and we need to go to forum settings, and under electronics we can hit view forums and we can add a new forum in there. So this might be one for games, so we can have questions on Xbox, etc. And we could again add our expert on that subject and add that forum to the forum group. And it's exactly the same settings, like I said. So if you wanted to go through and create new forum groups, you can do so through here. So I could create one for pets, for example. And as we add that, we've now got a pets forum group, and we could add a new forum to that forum group, such as pet food. Okay, I hope you found this useful. And if you have any questions about how you should structure your forum groups and forums, please reach out to our team, because we've seen many different customers use Social Squared for lots of different reasons, and we'll hopefully be able to help you out with the layout and the categories of your forum groups and forums. Okay, many thanks.